Hey guys, this is George with Kingdom Worker Ministries, and I just want to take a few minutes of your time to share a quick message with you that I believe will be a blessing to you, will help encourage you, will help strengthen your relationship with God, and improve your Christian walk. Not long ago, we spoke about the sovereignty of God and how God's capabilities and abilities are mistakenly confused with the characteristics that makes God who he is. We mentioned that the capabilities and the abilities of God speak to his sovereignty and that God is the supreme authority, an omnipotent and all powerful entity who operates totally independent of any part of his creation. We also mentioned that there is absolutely nothing that God does not have the capability or ability to do. And that just because God can do a particular thing does not mean that God actually does that particular thing. We went on to mention that God has the capability to be unfair, immoral, unrighteous, and to do evil and bad things. The ability to change anything he chooses to change, especially his mind, if he chooses to change it. And he has the ability to lie as well, if he wants or chooses to lie. We then mentioned that God has chosen not to make these characteristics part of his distinctive qualities that make him who he is, choosing to have absolutely no injustice, immorality, unrighteousness, or wrongdoings with him. All of these things speak to the very nature or the character of God, the one that we serve, and the one that he wants man to know about. Can you imagine serving a God that is unfair, immoral, unrighteous, and does evil or bad things? What about serving a God who has respect of person or whose favor can be bought for a price? How about serving a God who constantly changes his mind or one whose mind can be changed at all? And while we cannot speak for any of you, we can answer each of these questions with a great big yes. Yes, we can imagine serving a God such as this because once upon a time, we served a so called God just like that. Yes, we're speaking of the one called the God of this world, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, or the prince of this world, according to John chapter 12, verse 31. However, after, after discovering the truth, we are truly thankful that these are not the characteristics of the sovereign, omnipotent God of all creation that we now serve, who has chosen not to make these characteristics part of the distinctive qualities that makes him who he is. If you think about it, it would be extremely hard to please a God who changes things all the time, especially one who changes his mind, much less trust in one who was unfair, immoral, unrighteous, and did evil and bad things. If we had to sum up God's characteristics or nature in one word, integrity would definitely be at the forefront. Integrity is defined as the quality of possessing and steadfastly adhering to high moral principles or professional standards, uncompromising adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, honesty, or the state of being complete or undivided. Integrity is definitely one of the words we would choose to sum up the very character or nature of the God we serve. God tells us that He is God and there is none else besides Him. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35, for there is no one else like Him. God tells us that He is God in heaven above and above the earth beneath, for there is no other God than Him. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 39. God has chosen to be the one of integrity as a way to set Himself apart from all other gods that man could claim to serve. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. That way, His children would recognize Him over all others. As you hear this inspirational message, we pray that you will be inspired as well as understand why God is dependable. It is one of those characteristics, that distinctive quality that makes God who He is. As always, we pray that this message will bless you, inform you, and that you will be the better for having heard it. If this message has been a blessing to you, please click the like button and share it so that others may be blessed as well. Have an awesome day, and we will see you the next time. Continued blessings.